Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing another video about revision, exactly what revision is and how you can use revision and what it isn't. I've had a couple of questions about this actually, and somebody did request this video. So I'm just going to kick off with what it is to me and what it isn't to me. I have had questions in the past from people saying, yeah, I really want to change the past and I want it to change for me and I want it to change for the other person, so that basically you're living in a different past. So the people around you have not experienced what you're experiencing now, the situation that you did experience, are experiencing the situation that you imagined experiencing. That's not how revision works. You are not actually going back into the past and changing it. What you are doing is changing it for your subconscious. You are giving your subconscious another version of events. And when your subconscious takes on board that other version of events, you won't immediately believe it with your rational brain. You'll always know that that wasn't what really happened, and that wasn't what you really experienced. But your subconscious will start to take on another version. When it takes on that new version, it is far easier to manifest from that point. So if we're talking about getting back with your ex, and this is really where this comes in, isn't it, revision? Getting back with somebody that you've had a bad experience with. It ended in, well, it could have ended with them just ignoring you, but it could have ended in a big argument and something could have happened. And that's the point that you want to revise, because the reason we use revision is because we are struggling with what actually happened. So we want to manifest one thing, you want to manifest that person back into your life or into your life, but you're struggling with the point, with certain things, and maybe it's one thing in particular. So your subconscious is thinking, well, that wouldn't happen, that wouldn't happen, that wouldn't happen because this happened. So because you are trying to manifest, it's holding you back. Now, if you weren't trying to manifest and you just desired this person back in your life and you had a really strong desire for it, but you didn't consider all of the other things because you didn't know for a minute that you could do that, then none of that would make any difference. It wouldn't make a jot of difference. That person would end up coming back to you and you just think, oh, wow, none of that would have made any difference. But it only makes a difference when we are trying, because our energy is slightly out of whack. We haven't got that big gaping hole for it to come through because we are holding on to the things that happened. So that's where revision comes in. So I'm going to just give you an example of how revision might work in the case of getting back with your ex. Let's say this, for example, and this is quite a common thing, so I think it's quite a good one to go with. You split up and then you overtexted, you feel like you made an idiot of yourself and you feel like you were pushing and they just pulled further and further away, and now you feel they are just over it completely. You really embarrassed yourself and you feel you can't, so you've got that going on and you're trying to manifest them back. What's going to win? That is going to win because it's stronger and it's an internal program. It's ticking over all of the time because that's what you think. Well, that happened, so that is going to hold it back. Even though you can tell yourself that circumstances don't matter, and they don't matter to this, they don't matter to the universe. But if they matter to us, then they are going to hold us back. So what would you do with that? You would revise that in this way. You would go back to that point where it ended. Okay, and then you would change your reaction to it. So you would then say, okay, let's say they ended it, and you would say, okay, I'm accepting this for now. Imagine yourself saying to that to them, you accepting that that's happening. You realize that it needs to end because it's come to such a point. And then they say to you, yeah, we just need a break. Let's come back to this when we've both settled down. That's your revision point. So instead of happening what did happen, you change it. You change the conversation that you had with that person. You change that end point. The thing that's bugging you, you change. Now, you are not going to suddenly think, oh yeah, that's what happened. Of course you're not. Your rational mind knows that that didn't happen, but you just give a different feeling to your subconscious, and then you repeat that, not to an excessive, obsessed point, but you do use repetition for maybe 3 weeks, I would say. So you're just giving your subconscious a different reference point. So you go back to that. I'll give you an example of something I read about this years ago, and it stayed with me and I thought it was very interesting. So it got me sort of into revision as a thing and an understanding of it, because I really do work a lot with the subconscious mind, which you will know if you're a coaching client. So I have probably got this story slightly wrong, but this is how I remember it after reading it. This woman was talking, she said she had this really bad back. She had this thing going on with her back that she'd had going on for years and years and years, always had it. Now she put it down to an accident she had when she was younger. She was swinging really, really high on the swing, and she felt, basically, I don't know if she jumped off and hurt herself or she fell off, but she did. And so she's put her bad back down to that. Oh, it's because I did that. Now, what she did is she went back and she revised that moment, because she remembered that vividly, because she puts her whole bad back down to that. She did put her whole issues with her back down to that. Apologies if you've heard this story somewhere else and you know that I'm slightly wrong. This is how I remember it, and this is how this works for me. So, you know, point it out if I have, but this is exactly as I remember it. So she went back to that point of being on that swing, and she imagined herself on the swing, and then she imagined herself slowing down and getting off the swing as she would do as normal, and then going over to her mum or something. And she did that over and over and over until she felt a little bit different about it. Like, she knew up here that didn't happen, but in here she thought, she just felt different. And that's what you're looking to do. You're only looking to feel different. You're looking to give your subconscious something else to go by. Anyway, she didn't have a bad back after that. Whatever it was she had that was causing her a problem, and I can't remember exactly what it was, it was eradicated, because the point that she had given herself that it came from was now gone. Her subconscious didn't see that event as happening as it actually happened. It saw a different version. So that is how this works. I really hope that makes sense, because I know, you know, if you think, I mean, if you truly believe that you could go back and change something and change the past for everybody around you, then maybe you could. I don't know. What do I know? All I know is that is my understanding of it, and that is the way that my understanding of the way Neville taught it, and that is the way it's worked for me. So I totally get it, because I don't say I totally get the subconscious mind, but that is my thing. That is what I work with since I had hypnosis a few years ago, and I just find it fascinating. So what you need to do is split your rational mind from your subconscious mind. Don't bring this into it. You don't need to. Apart from the imagining, the imaginal act, it doesn't come into it. You know, you can tell yourself, well, that didn't happen, that didn't happen. It doesn't matter what this says. It's all about I point to here, don't I, subconscious. I don't know where the subconscious is, but it's all about the subconscious mind and nothing to do with the rational mind. So if you can split the two and just work with the subconscious, that's how this works. So if you want to do that, go back to a point that's really bugging you and decide, I'm going to do this for, let's say, a month, because that's a good time, isn't it? Start from now and finish it the next month on the same date, and give yourself that amount of time. It's a repetitious exercise. It's not something that you do over and over and over all day long. It's choose a couple of times a day, and definitely do it before you go to sleep at night, because that's when you are the most suggestible and your subconscious will be taking that all in. So that's what this is. It's as simple as that. It's such a simple little exercise. See it as a life skill. See it as something that you can take forward with you. Don't see it as something that you do, oh, and then I'm going to get my manifestation. Oh, I'm looking for it, because you'll just sort of negate what you're doing, really. So, well, you won't, because you will have started to change that subconscious belief, but better to do it as an exercise. It will make you feel better. I promise you'll feel better. There'll be a point when you will, because you'll eventually your rational brain will come on board, but it will always know it didn't happen, but it will feel like, it will kind of agree that could have been the version of events. It's a weird thing, and it does take a little bit of self-discipline to stick at it, but I think it's something worthwhile, because it's a life skill, definitely, and not something I would ever do in order to manifest. It's so that I can give myself a better reference point. I wouldn't expect to do this and suddenly manifest, although you could, but that's not how I would use this, because otherwise you then start looking for the result again, and I would never want to get into that. I haven't used revision for quite a long time, I must admit, but because I'm at a different point with this now, I'm totally on board with it. I know circumstances don't matter. It's within me. It's ingrained in me. So, but I have used it in the past successfully, and I've noticed that I've used it when I was younger with things but not known what I was doing. So I think it's always something that I've obviously internally understood that I could do, but didn't obviously ever know what it was. So I hope this was useful. I hope it made sense. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I'd love for you to do that. My subscribers are going up quite quick now, which is really nice. I write books, they're all listed below, and I offer Zoom coaching. There's loads of stuff on my website. Pop over and see what I do. My son Harrison Ellis has a Law of Attraction channel as well, and he's starting to do really, really well, which is great. And Thank you for watching. If you've got any more questions about this, please do ask below and I'll try to comment. You know, if you've got a particular situation that you think, but what if this? And then I will try and give you a proper bespoke answer.